Why is constipation the mother of all disease? If you want the answer to your question, watch the entire video. I am Dr. Gia Raymond, a specialist in complementary medicine. There are many factors that cause constipation, including lack of physical activity and exercise, improper chewing of food, consuming junk foods, excessive consumption of beverages such as tea and coffee that contain high amounts of caffeine and nicotine, and cause problems for bowel movements. Insufficient rest and sleep and irregular meal times are also important factors. It is important for us to eat meals at regular times, which helps regulate digestion according to the body's biological clock. According to the body's biological clock, the ideal time for defecation is between 5 and 7 in the morning, when the person is asleep during that time. If you deviate from this schedule, the intestines may become sluggish and cold, and anything that causes the body to become cold and acidic becomes problematic. If you have a habit of always consuming yogurt and buttermilk excessively with your meals, you are actually causing your intestines to become cold and sluggish. When the peristaltic movements of our intestines become cold and sluggish, constipation occurs. In general, continuous consumption of ice-cold water, excessive consumption of meat, and excessive nervousness all cool down the intestinal environment and make the intestines sluggish. Constipation leads to various complications for individuals, and one major complication is bloating. Because constipation causes food to remain in the intestines for a prolonged period, it occupies a large space in the intestine, which, with its muscular shape, creates a suitable environment for fat accumulation. To address this problem, constipation must first be resolved. The second complication is the accumulation of various toxins in the intestine because the food isn't consumed. These toxins are reabsorbed and a toxic substance is secreted in the intestines. This toxin causes migraines in individuals. Those who suffer from migraines are often affected for hours, and sometimes they experience migraine headaches for several days. Upon examination, it is discovered that they have chronic constipation, and the reason for this is that the toxin affects the brain and triggers migraines for the individual. The next complication is shortness of breath. A person with constipation often breathes heavily and feels short of breath even after climbing a few stairs. This is because the gases produced from undigested food that has been poorly digested and has prolonged retention in the intestines affect the lungs and cause respiratory problems. It also puts a lot of pressure on the heart. This is where the saying constipation is the mother of all diseases is entirely true and accurate. High blood fat and blood pressure are also subsequent complications of constipation. When an individual with high blood pressure resolves their constipation, their blood pressure immediately decreases by several points. This is a very good sign and indicates that in order to treat any pain, we must first address constipation. It may be unbelievable for you, but conditions like arthritis, rheumatism, and joint pain can be caused by constipation. Constipation causes the body to become acidic, and this acidic condition is highly detrimental to the joints and bones. This acidity causes friction and ultimately leads to wear and tear in the body, including the bones. Restlessness and agitation are also among the subsequent complications of constipation. Sometimes individuals become restless, lose their patience, and become agitated. When we investigate, we realize that the person is constipated, which means that the reabsorbed toxins made them restless and agitated. Children who are hyperactive find relief when their constipation is resolved. Parasitic diseases, cataract, and weak eyesight, meaning poor vision, are all complications of constipation. You can also watch my video, Take Off Your Glasses, which is about eyesight problem treatments. If you notice that your skin appears dull and lacks radiance, it may be an indicator that your bowels are not functioning properly. Furthermore, if we have a weakened immune system, constipation can be the underlying cause. Resolving constipation can help treat all of these conditions. When it comes to treating constipation, we should avoid using chemical medications as much as possible. They disrupt the functioning of the intestines, and the intestines become dependent on these drugs. They won't evacuate unless the person continues to use the medication. So, if you're accustomed to relying on medication to regulate your bowel movements, gradually replace it with natural methods. One natural method is the use of fresh figs or soaked dried figs in rosewater. This is extraordinary because figs are rich in fiber, and any food containing ample fiber helps facilitate quicker bowel movements. You can soak 7 dried figs in a small amount of rosewater overnight, and in the morning, the first thing you consume should be those 7 soaked figs. This will greatly aid in bowel movements due to the abundant fiber content. Another thing you can do is boil 2 teaspoons of flaxseed seeds in water for 20 minutes. Then, again, the first thing you consume should be this beverage, and refrain from consuming anything else for half an hour to allow your body to analyze it. One of the remedies that we can use 2 to 3 times a week without any harm or causing the intestines to become dependent is the use of senna leaves and damask rose. You can steep a teaspoon of each in a cup of boiling water and consume it in the morning or throughout the day. It's best to use it on every other day to prevent the intestines from getting accustomed to it. The truth is that olive oil works wonders in treating constipation. We should get ourselves accustomed to using olive oil in various ways. In the morning, on an empty stomach, it is excellent. You can heat a small amount of olive oil and consume a third a glass of it, or if you want, half a glass. This will undoubtedly relieve constipation. Additionally, we can perform an enema if you are experiencing severe constipation and nothing you eat is providing relief. Heat some olive oil, pour it into an enema bulb, and use it. Afterward, it's best to rest for 20 minutes to allow the olive oil to work. This can be very helpful. The simplest and most readily available remedy you can use is honey syrup. Honey mixed with warm water is exceptional. It softens the intestines and speeds up bowel movements. One of our patients had very severe and chronic constipation that didn't respond to any medication. What we did for them and the advice we gave was to consume lukewarm water, neither hot nor cold, throughout the morning sip by sip. They started with half a glass or a full glass and gradually increased it. You can also change your diet and replace certain food items, getting accustomed to them in your lives. Naturally, if someone regularly consumes fast food, fried foods, and processed foods, it's natural for this problem to arise. You need to get yourselves accustomed to using various vegetable soups during the week, incorporating different vegetables, sufficient olive oil, and prunes. This problem can be easily solved without the need for so many chemical medications. Lastly, I recommend eliminating meat from your diet. If you have constipation, try this for 20 days without consuming any meat or dairy products. Replace them with easily digestible, healthy plant-based foods. You can use all healthy food items, even cooked ones, as long as they do not contain meat.